Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today's video I thought I would talk about my labour and birth story with Elise. If you haven't watched any of my videos or followed me on my blog, Instagram or anything, I've got two children. Elise is 4.5 now and Charlie is, how old is he? He is 22 months. I had to think about that then. He's 22 months. So obviously, yeah, Elise is my eldest, so I thought I would start off with my labour and birth story with her, and then I'll do another video with Charlie because they're very different labours, all fine, but yeah, they were completely different. So it just goes to show, and definitely second labour, for me anyway, wasn't better or faster. It was the complete opposite, but I don't want to scaremonger anyone. So yeah, I was thinking as well that I'd maybe do like a pregnancy kind of like series with these videos. I'm going to do like a few about pregnancy and coping with pregnancy alone because I was actually on my own for most of my pregnancy with Elise due to my husband's job, so I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, so my labour with Elise was quite a long time ago now. She's going to be 5 in July, so we're what, March now, so in a few months she's going to be 5, which is quite sad. I can't believe how it really does go really quickly. But yeah, so she was born in July. It was ridiculously hot on the day that she was born, and she is actually one of the 5% that are born on their due date. So for me that was ideal. First pregnancy, I didn't have to wait about. She was bang on time. As I said, my husband was away due to work, so he came home for about 4 or 5 days before she was due. So yeah, he came home on the Sunday. Oh no, sorry, it's about 6 days. So he came home on the Sunday and she was born the following Saturday. I had my 40-week midwife appointment on the Thursday because that was just the day that I always saw my midwife. And because of my husband's job, if you don't know, he is in the Marines and he was on R&R from Afghanistan. So that was, yeah, not the best time in my life. So he was only going to be home for 2 weeks for the birth, spend a few days with us and then go back. Luckily it worked in our favour and he didn't have to go back, but we went to the appointment and due to our circumstances they were more than willing to induce me a few days after my due date. So we got all that booked in and she gave me a stretch and sweep. She said if it was going to work, it's going to work. If it doesn't, if it doesn't. And if it was, it would work within the next 24 to 48 hours. So we went home, went out for dinner, started feeling twinges, cramping, kind of Braxton Hicks. They said that was normal. Had a bit of a show, so I was thinking, yay, she's coming, and she didn't. I woke up on Friday morning and throughout the day from around sort of 7-8 o'clock in the morning I was getting regular contractions. They were kind of coming about 5-10 minutes apart. Eventually phoned the hospital late in the afternoon and, you know, first baby they're like, oh, it'll take a while and you'll be fine, but come in, we'll check you. So they checked me and it was like as soon as I walked through those hospital doors my contractions just stopped. Nothing was happening. I was sitting there thinking, great, they're going to think, oh, I'm this typical first time mum being neurotic and every little twinge and everything, that I thought it was it. But no, they checked me and I was only about 1 centimetre dilated. They said this baby is not on her way, you don't need to worry. So I thought, great. Got my induction date confirmed for the Wednesday, so this was the Friday. Went home, we got a curry on the way home. I was determined to get her out. Bouncing on my ball all evening, raspberry leaf tea. I was like, she just needs to come out. And then we went to bed about 10-11 o'clock and I remember waking up around 2 in the morning with these like really intense cramps. And then it was just like a really big intense pain. I thought, oh, okay, what was that? And it's really weird to describe, but I remember kind of drifting in and out of sleep. I didn't really keep an eye on the time or anything and it just felt like period cramps, but I managed to kind of sleep through them. And then about 7:30 I woke up with this really intense cramping again and just something in my head clicked thinking, this is it. Like, this is happening. So I wake Rich up. I'm like, Rich, this is it. She's coming. Yeah, I knew she was a girl already. And he was like, what? Okay. So I jumped out of bed. And I remember phoning my mum saying, like, Mum, the pains are really kicking in now. Because I had my mum at the birth as well, because I figured Rich wouldn't have a clue what it was going on. And obviously my mum's done it 3 times. So I wanted her there to, just as a bit of extra support. And if anything wasn't kind of going the way me and Rich wanted to, she could kind of, yeah, help it go the way we wanted it to go. Maybe a bit more forceful with the nurses and things about what I wanted and how I was feeling, because obviously we didn't know what to expect, what was normal or anything. And so yeah, I wanted her there. So yeah, she told me to phone the hospital being the hospital. Oh, wait till they're a couple of minutes apart, take some paracetamol, which does absolutely nothing. So I took some, I had a bath, and they were really starting to kick in. I had a TENS machine, so I put that on. For me, it didn't really do anything. It aggravated me more than anything. Just have this like zapping thing. It sort of gives almost like little electric shocks. Well, to me, that's how it felt. I don't know if I had it on right or anything, but that's how it felt, and it just really aggravated me. So I took it off, and it got to about 9:30, and I said to, well, my now husband, I said, phone that hospital, we are going in, I need to be in hospital. So we phoned and he said, look, she's coming, whether you like it or not, she's coming in. So we arrived there about 10 o'clock, and my husband went and parked the car. My mum was waiting for us at the front of the hospital, and my husband said, you know, I'll park the car, you go take her up, and we'll meet you there. Well, we got in, and I could not walk more than sort of 4 or 5 steps without a contraction coming. They were coming really quickly, and this nurse out of nowhere came running over with a wheelchair and said, look, you've got no chance of getting upstairs, because the hospital I gave birth in, you went in the entrance, and no word of a lie, the labour ward was about a mile down the road, down the other end of the hospital. So you walked in, you had made a left, go all the way down, and then you either had to go in a lift or up the stairs. So it was the 3rd floor, and then again it was the other. It was ridiculous, and there was no quick like entrance to it. So yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. And my mum is petrified of lifts or elevators, whatever you call them. And so I had to go in a lift with this random lady who'd never met me, didn't know her. And I'm sitting there in this wheelchair having contractions, and bless this woman, whoever you are, if you remember me, if you ever get to watch this video, thank you, because you were really sweet in the lift, and she was talking me through my contractions and my breathing while my mum was running up about 4 flights of stairs to meet me. At the oh sorry, that's my phone, at the top of the where the labour ward was. So yeah, we got out of there, we went in, and I thought, this has got to be it. I'm in so much pain, there's no way I can do this for more than a few hours. So we got in, they checked me, and they told me I was only 2 to 3 centimetres dilated, and that just felt like, oh, it was so deflating, because I thought I've got to be at least like, what, 7, 8, 9 maybe, I'm going to be pushing soon. And to tell that, and I thought, they're going to send me home, I can't do this. So I was on the verge of having a tiny breakdown at that point. And they said because my contractions were coming so regularly, they were going to keep me in, because they couldn't quite understand why the contractions were going really, really fast, but I wasn't dilating to match. So maybe there was a chance of C-section or something like that. So they gave me a shot of pethidine, which, to be honest, looking back, they didn't actually ask me. They just kind of poked it in my bum while I was bent over having contractions, and they said, oh, this will make you sleep, you're going to be hours, she's not gone her way. So I was like, okay. I didn't sleep. I just felt drunk, and I loved it. I loved pethidine. And I really wanted a water bath. I was really, really forceful with that. I said, look, I really want to get in the water. If it's obviously safe for me to do so, I want to have a water bath. So they said, well, you have to be like 4 hours clear of having the pethidine. So I had the pethidine just after 10. So they said at 2 o'clock, we'll start filling up the pool for you. So yeah, within that 4 hours, I didn't have any gas and air or anything. It went by in a flash, to be honest. I just felt like I was in a big old daze. My mum and my husband saw it fit to order a Domino's. For them, it was like a day trip out. So in some of the photos of me delivering Elise, there were pizza boxes around the room, and even the nurses got in on it. So yeah, I'm not even making this up, it's completely true. I won't name the hospital, but yeah, it was all very just chilled and relaxed there. So yeah, fast forward to 2 o'clock. I'd absolutely, I mean, the pethidine wore off within an hour, to be honest, and I just sat on my birthing ball for a few hours, and then they started filling the pool up, checked me, and they said, great, you're just about 4 centimetres. So I thought, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. I'm going to be here all day trying to get this little girl out. So fast forward about 20 minutes later, and I had this overwhelming urge to push, and for me, the pushing part was the scariest part of giving birth. I was scared that I wouldn't know when I needed to push, or be able to do it, or anything like that, or worried about it getting stuck and things like that. That was, for me, that was my biggest fear. But this feeling, oh, it just takes over your body. You can't control it, and there's no denying it. There's absolutely no denying it. And it's so much pressure in your back and in your bottom, and yeah, it just completely took me by surprise. So I said to them, look, I need to push, and they said, don't be silly, you were only 4 centimetres, because obviously they only checked me like 20 minutes before. There's no way you are ready to push. Here, have some gas in there. So they gave me that, and at this point I'm on all fours on this bed, bare bottom, got my tankini top on, ready to get in the pool, mooing like a farm animal. It's not the nicest thing, but that's the only thing that I could how to just get through it. Kind of made these like noises. 2:30, I think. I remember looking up at the clock, because there was a clock like just above my bed, and I thought, my God, is she kidding me? There's no way I'm 4 centimetres. So I said, right, I'm telling you now, I need to push. So they were a little understaffed, and they said, well, the midwife's actually delivering another baby next door, so you're going to have to wait. So I thought, wait? What do you mean, wait? Can't wait. This, my body's just doing it naturally. So she came in about 5 or so minutes later, and said, okay, Natasha, we'll check you. But you're still going to be 4 centimetres, but we'll get you in the pool. That'll make you feel better. And it was still filling up at this point, the pool. And so she said, you know, I think if you can't handle the pain, you need an epidural. So I said, fine, just get me my epidural then. If I'm only 4 centimetres, sod doing this for another 4, 6, 10 hours. But I just knew in my heart that I was ready. So she had a look, and she said, oh, do you feel like you want to push? I said, yeah, I've been saying this for about 20 minutes. I want to push. So she said, give me a push. And with that, my waters broke, went everywhere, and there she was. She was coming. So they got me to lay down on my back, and a few big pushes, and she started to come out. But as she was coming out, they realised that she was back to back, which was why I was having really bad back pain. I think I had a lot of pressure in my back. So they brought in a doctor, because they noticed that her heart rate had started to drop a little bit. And luckily I wasn't really aware, because I was just so tired by this point. And when I don't know about anyone else, but for me, the first one, the whole thing was just like a whirlwind, and you kind of in a daze thinking, is this really happening? It's going, and as well, I think I was in a bit of shock, because I went from being told I was 4 centimetres to half an hour later I'm 10, and I'm pushing a baby out. So I thought I still had quite a few hours, and I was wrapping my head around the fact that I was going to have an epidural, even though I really didn't want one. But I thought, I can't cope with this pain. So yeah, the doctor came in, and they were umming and ahhing, I think about 4 steps or Rontus, and this doctor just looked at me and he's like, she can do this, she just needs to really push. I had to have an episiotomy to kind of help with her chin because of the way she was coming out, and they did that. And I remember my midwife, who did end up delivering her, she was lovely, her name was Sonia, so hello if you're watching this or anything, or I get to meet you again, because you were lovely. She came in, and I remember her saying, you know, Natasha, I finish at 3 o'clock, and with or without baby I'm walking out, so otherwise, you know, you've got to do it. So I remember looking at the clock, and I pushed and I pushed, and when her head came out, she actually said, okay, do you want to lean down and grab your baby? I thought, grab what does she mean? So I leant down, and she was, sorry if anyone's a bit squeamish or doesn't like the idea of this, but she was still obviously in me, and I actually delivered the rest of her. It was the most, oh, I feel like I'm gonna get really emotional now. Yeah, it was the most amazing thing I've ever done, and God, I didn't think I'd still get emotional like nearly 5 years on. Yeah, it was amazing, and she was born at 1 minute past 3, and I remember just pulling her up onto me and being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I put her on me, and then she pooed all over me. Yeah, and it's true, all the pain that I'd gone through, and being in shock and not understanding how I went from 4 to 10 in like half an hour, it all just went away, and yeah, just had this perfect little baby. And it was quite funny because no one had really actually checked that she was a girl, so I kind of just put her on, and it was a good 10-15 minutes, and my husband was like, it is a girl, isn't it? And then we kind of just lifted up a leg, and yeah, it was a little girl. So yeah, and then all the, you know, stitch up, went for a bath, Rich got her dressed, and then before that we'd started to latch and breastfeed, which I did have a lot of problems with, but again, I'll do another video on breastfeeding because unfortunately it didn't work out for me either time, but it's just one of those things, and can't beat myself up about it. But yeah, as much of a shock as the birth was, it was really good, and I would do her labour over 100 times over, especially to get that feeling of when you hold your little baby and you get to meet her finally. And I was just so grateful that Rich could be there, because it was touch and go whether he was going to make the birth as it was. So it was so nice to share that moment with him and have my mum there as well. She was a great support, and yeah, it was just all lovely, and thinking about it makes me so broody for another one, and to do it all over again. And as frightening as it was, you know, afterwards finding out her heart rate had dropped a little bit and having to have the episiotomy, that wasn't great. It did take me quite a few weeks to heal, because I had a few issues with my stitches, but apart from that, it was all lovely and fine. And yeah, now she's nearly 5, so it really does go by so fast. So yeah, if you are pregnant watching this, I really hope I haven't scared you. It's really not, it's weird. It's nothing that you can prepare yourself for. You can read every book, watch every YouTube video, take advice from everyone you know, but until you've gone through it, or going through it, should I say, you won't know what to expect, because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's pain threshold is completely different. But what I can definitely say is that you will manage it, you will handle it. Whatever is thrown at you, whatever your labour's like, you will get through it, because you just do. And like I said, my labour with Charlie was completely different. It wasn't as straightforward, it was 100 times more painful. But again, I can safely say I would do it again in a heartbeat. So it's really not bad. And yeah, if you are pregnant, or you've had or you've already got a baby, I'd love to hear how your labour went. So leave me a comment below. I did do a blog post about my labour and delivery with Elise, so I'll link that in the description box below as well for you to have a read. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's not been too long. I'm not really sure how long I've been talking for, because I like to talk. And yeah, I will be back with another video very shortly. I think I'll film Charlie's labour and delivery, and then I'll do a bit about coping in pregnancy alone, and tips for, you know, morning sickness and being pregnant and having a toddler and all that jazz. So yeah, I'm going to do a little pregnancy series. So yeah, thank you so much for watching me, and I will see you all in my next video.